Okay.
All right, it's a recording. So,
Andrea is starting to record it. Just see on my screen. Yep,
all right,
yep.
all right, good. So we're recording there.
Yeah, I
We
got
can.
recording on my screen as well. So we
All
good.
right, good. So all good.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
hey, so everybody, so just welcome to our living room. Just something we decided to start. At this time, my good friends Mark and Philip and I, we kind of just get together on Zoom every now and then. I have a chat, have a conversation, and we thought we'd just put it out there, share it with other people. Also, we were thinking about, at this time, people around the Caribbean just wondering what's going on in the different islands, how everybody's doing, all that kind of stuff. So we thought, we'll just have the concept of a Caribbean living room. The Caribbean living room, anytime someone comes over, you come in, you have a chat, you sit down in the living room, you have a drink, that kind of stuff. And we just thought that we would do that, invite some guests from around the Caribbean every now and then, and share with people just so that everyone just gets an idea. So Philip would join pretty soon, and then we got someone special joining from Barbados that would join us pretty soon as well. So that's what we're looking to do. So Mark, how's it going? How are things going up there in Wolverhampton for you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. We just trying to, obey the rules, as they would say. Staying indoors. We into the fourth week of the lockdown now, so just trying to stay sane. I think would be the right way to put it. But all is good. The family is happy, and we just taking it one day at a time.
I know what you mean. How the boys doing? How the boys coping with it?
I think it's been. I think the first week I think was a little bit of a shock for them because school just suddenly stopped, and that was a real shock for them. So all of the novelty of class, online classroom, they went into that season, and then that stopped also because school came to an end, and then they've just kind of drifted into doing their own stuff, being creative as usual, reading, playing the piano, playing games, just trying to enjoy the moment. You know how we get so busy in the work season, sometimes you almost can forget to just enjoy some moments when they come along. So we trying to do that as a family at the moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, for me, mine is a bit of a mindset. I kind of go, you know what? You got to look for the silver lining in everything. So for me, the time being home, I just said, look, you get to spend time with my daughters, spend time with Carol, just chill out and that kind of stuff. And work has been busy. Matter of fact, I think work has been a lot busier working from home than it has been going into the office, to be honest with you. But that's been going good. And then I think once you, not saying that it's the same for everybody, but once I put myself in that mindset, I just find, you know, I could do this. I mean, we got another 3 weeks as announced the other day. So 3 more weeks after 3 weeks. So after, in all, it'll be 6 weeks for us here in London. And London, as you know, hit pretty badly with it as well. So hopefully, after 3 weeks, we can start to get back to a bit of normalcy.
Well, I think it's been a big adjustment for everybody, and the truth is, you talk about work, but the reality is, we live here in England, and we are used to working from home to a certain extent. But what we've achieved, you would say, in the last 3 to 4 weeks is probably a 5-year strategy that has just been implemented straight away. So, we've saved a lot of time in trying to figure out how to do it en masse, and
Hmm.
that in itself, I think, has been quite a positive experience, actually.
All right, well, Philip about
But
to
but of
join us,
course,
so
of
let
course,
me.
we can't. Oh,
Philip can
okay,
join us here in
okay,
a sec, so let me let him in.
cool.
Mr. Robinson, how things going?
Yes.
No worries. Mark and I just having a bit of a
What's
chat.
happening, Phil?
Yeah, man. My face are clean.
You know how it is. How things up in Manchester, man.
Yeah, all right for now. But as usual, trying to do 20 million things in one day.
That's the thing, boy. Is a 24/7 thing now for the last few weeks, and another three too.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But doing good.
How Nedry doing?
She doing okay. We did a chocolate cake today. Chocolate orange cake.
Oof.
But I taught her the method, you know. I don't cook with recipes.
Wait, is this your method of a portion of this, a portion of that?
Yep. Yep. Find out how much ingredients you have. How many oranges do you have first? What size pan are you using? How much flour you have? And then based on that, formulate the perfect cake.
My man said he made jam last week.
Jam.
Strawberry jam.
All right, we could work with jam. We could
Yeah,
work with
man.
jam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all right. It's all
The
right.
idea is do not waste anything.
No, I agree with that.
But
I
can I
don't have
just
a problem
clarify
with
something there, though, Phil?
Yeah.
This was this was strawberry jam with strawberries, right?
Well, hopes you can make it. Yep. The actual
Well,
fresh
I don't know. I know you're
strawberries.
the man that like to improvise, you know.
By next year, the strawberries will come from my land. That's the plan.
Oh,
that. All right, that's something
fair
interesting.
point. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's something interesting. Okay, so we got June jumping in.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hey, June.
Slowly connecting.
Hi,
Hey, June. How you doing?
I'm good. It's hot.
everybody
Crazy
keep
hot.
telling me so how hot it is at home.
Jeez.
Well, you got to get the fan. Well, everybody got air conditioning these days too, so.
There's one in the bedrooms here.
All
But I
right.
got the fan, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you for joining us. We got Mark and Philip here with us as well.
Hi, guys.
Hi, June.
Hey.
And just a little bit of intro to June. So I've known June how long now? 1999, I think it was, June. That's how long ago. Young
Yeah.
fella coming back home and just, getting stuck in after studies. And June gave me a chance.
You know,
June
thank
gave me a
you.
chance way back then. So I always say thank you for that chance because of that chance, a whole world of opportunity opened up for me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And we saw potential. Hey.
Thank you very much for
You're
saying
welcome.
Thank you for saying that. And welcome to our conversation as well, what we call our living room. We just say is at home, whenever guests come over, you go in the living room, you sit down, you have a drink, and you have a chat.
It's true.
So we thought, well, during this time of physical, social distancing, we do the same thing, but on Zoom. And we can invite
Yeah.
different people to have a chat with us, especially people from the Caribbean as well, because one of the things I realized as you talk to different people, there's a thirst for information about what's going on in some of the other islands and how people are
Yeah.
coping and all that kind of stuff. So we thought we would just do something and share it with other people, but we start with home first. So thanks
Yeah.
for taking the opportunity to join, and thanks for, just giving up with some of your time.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Yeah, when I thought this morning, I thought, but it's Saturday though. And my time to shop is between 1 and 4 this afternoon, and Andrew said 1 o'clock. And I'm thinking, oh God.
Oh dear, you can't miss that time. You can't.
Just need some bread though. Yeah,
Need
just
some
some bread. These are precious hours, right?
I tell me about it. Tell me about it. First and foremost, how are you doing though? How are you coping during this time? I guess that's the main thing that we would like to know. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Working from home is not a major thing. I'm hooked up. The internet connection is good. Most of what we do, I work for an international trust and corporate services provider, and all of our clients are international clients. So all of what I can do from my computer. And we do Zoom meetings or Skype meetings twice a week. Any communication with clients, like we had a meeting with a client recently. One was in Spain and one was in the UK. So we're able to continue to communicate and connect. So for me, it's no kill call. I'm good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And both your kids are home in Barbados?
No, David is in Washington State. He works with Microsoft.
Washington State. Okay.
He's at ground zero.
That's interesting.
Actually.
Yes.
Actually, I was when the first case came into Washington. I think it was on January 19th. I think it was, and the nursing home that had where all the deaths are is like 8 minutes away from David's home. So that was my main worry and concern about them. And,
Wow.
But they have been home, and thankfully groceries are still being delivered. Food is still being delivered if they want to do takeout. And the kids are doing pretty good. I think they get their nursery school, and Kai, he gets his 1 hour teaching a day via Zoom. And I'm looking at him on this, I'm saying, but look, this child is only 5 years old, he's using Zoom. So I continue to be amazed at how all of what we said a couple of months ago couldn't happen and could not work is now all of a sudden working and working well.
That's very true. We were talking about that all the time. You tell the kids put down the devices, but no, you're in this time actually. It's because they know the devices well.
Exactly.
They're teaching us something sometimes about how to use it and how to connect and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think for us, it has been good. My boss, he's Canadian, and he thought it may be safer health-wise to stay in Canada, so he flew out like the 14th of March. So he is at his cabin somewhere in Canada, and so we're able to connect. And it's a small office, so it's 6 of us. So again, the remainder 5 are here, so we're doing good.
Okay, well, that's good. And in general, people at home, how you think Barbados as a whole coping with it?
I think people are starting to settle down. There was a lot of panic and a lot of what ifs and people not knowing and a lot of grumbling. If you see on social media, the grumbling and complaining, criticizing the government, what the government is doing, but forgetting that this thing is novel and recognizing that this is a first for everybody in this generation. So everybody is feeling their way through and putting things in place, setting policies and protocols, and then having to go back and tweak. So I think the challenge was for people to understand the whole social distancing thing, and that was still is a major thing for us. Not congregating in groups. People can't go into the rum shops and get their EXO. They can't get their rum.
I've been seeing those conversations all over the internet about the rum shops and the memes.
And so the challenge maybe for those men who find they're socializing in the rum shop more so than in the house.
Yeah.
And that I think for the parents, I have a friend who has 4 kids. Thankfully, he's a teacher, but he says even for him, that is a challenge having to homeschool 4 children at different age groups. He says by 7 o'clock, he has to sleep. He has a pounding headache.
Sure.
All the other issues, so I think for some parents with kids in the household, it's a major challenge. How do they teach the kids some of the subjects that they have to deal with? How do they assist them in the work that they're doing? So those are some of the challenges that we see parents are having in this season.
I think even for very intelligent parents, it's still hard because all parents are not teachers.
It's true.
So that's true.
Yeah. I find the teaching. I mean, my daughter is 14 and 11. They have most of their stuff coming through on the internet, and because of that kind of age, they're kind of self-sufficient. So you kind of just let them get on with it. Mark, how are you dealing with that as well up there?
Well, it's been interesting for the boys. I've got 2 boys, June, one 16 and one 11. And the schools, because they had to finish school immediately, the schools kind of put in place, the Google Classroom, and the kids were able to go online. It was a bit of a novelty for them at first. But then I think once school finished, then we were just able to start doing the non-traditional things around education, really doing a lot more stuff around the arts and culture and just focusing on those areas. And my boys love to do that type of stuff. So that's where we're at the moment.
Oh, excellent. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And Philip, Adrian, and the girls, and Miles, how are they doing with the online teaching and that kind of stuff?
So first of all, we said we are not homeschooling. We didn't fool ourselves. What we were doing is
I agree with that, actually.
I call it transient continuous parenting.
I like that.
Okay.
Just, the fact is, we are being faced with this scenario where for a short period of time, we hope, and for a season, we will be continuous parenting and not handing our children over to someone else to educate them. Yeah. So we split the day in 2 halves. So the first half is the school has graciously prepared a curriculum for us.
Yeah.
They get to sit down and do that. And then in the evening, we try to create things that are a bit more creative. So extract some things from the curriculum, whether it's math or English and writing, but then give them a topic that they can work on. The most creative one I've done is this. Sit down and look outside for 20 minutes and tell me what and tell me what's going on.
Oh, I like
And so
that.
after 20 minutes, they come back and say, there's not much going on. I say, well, go and look again.
Oh my God.
But anyway, what we did is they then started to observe very simple things, because the only thing happening where we live right now is sometimes the trees are shaking. A
Oh,
bird flies by every 5 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Squirrel scatters by. So I said, okay, now write this list of things that they're doing, and then by the end of the day, construct a poem based on very little happening. So
I like that.
it's
So
just
I
stuff
like
that.
that.
Yeah,
Causes them to think creatively based on little things that they see.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Phil is the creative guy here.
very good.
Phil's
Like
get
that.
pretty creative. No
For
joke.
sure, for sure.
You
For
tell me
sure.
about it. So one of the things, June, that we've been seeing a lot across the world is about, and we find so interesting, is how
Mhm.
different leaders have been handling this.
Oh
Um,
God.
some have been relatively comical, if to be honest. Some have been a bit in denial. Some have been strong. Some again, but one of the things that even as we were talking about the other day, and I put a post about it about on Facebook about our Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and the fact that even though you may not agree with, or you might not agree is a strong, disagree is a strong word, even though you may not necessarily understand sometimes, or you might have a
Yeah.
different approach, or you think a different approach might be needed. One of the things that I've always been impressed with, and I think everyone's been impressed with actually, is just the decisiveness and the authority that she takes in making decisions, and the way how she communicates. You
Yeah.
think everybody is fully appreciative of that at home in Barbados?
No, but I think the majority are, and you know, you always want to get the naysayers and the politics when it come into play.
Mm,
But I think if
Of
you
course.
remove the Bs and the Ds and the PDPs and whoever else, I
mm,
think you would recognize that she had to be the one to be in power at this time.
mm.
I don't see anybody else handling this the way she has been. And I mean, she's had surgery, she's come back,
Yeah.
and even though Santia is the acting, she still makes sure that she's present.
Mm,
And I think that people appreciate that. She has a gift of communicating with people at all levels.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Um, she can go in the rum shop and sit down and slam it down. She can go down in the Deacon's Road and talk straight with the guys in the Red Sea. And then she
Mm,
can go into the White House and have a conversation with heads of governments from all over the world. And it is a gift that she's always had. And I like the way how she can communicate. And what she does is that she shares her personal experiences, how she eats, what she does. So you're able to see a leader who, even though she is out there, she can come here and relate to my situation and have a clear understanding of that. So I think
mm,
that even though people, again, a lot of grumbling is that because it is not from a selfish perspective. So I don't complain because I gotta stand up for 3 hours before I get into the supermarket.
mm,
So I'm getting feedback today that the lines are not like they were the last couple of days, because this is now the second segment or the second cycle of
mm,
the plan. So the lines are not as long because, like, for me, I don't have to go back and like I just need to get some bread. So I can
mm,
go to any bakery and pick up some bread.
mm,
Um, I think that she was ahead of the others. The plan was already in place. The quarantine centers were already set up. We were able to get one built in 5, 6 weeks. And this is Barbados. I mean, you know, this in China.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So things like that, where you see everybody coming together to work for the betterment of Barbados and to level the curve or flatten the curve and do whatever we have to do to stop the spread. I
Mhm.
think she's been doing a really good job. Trump, on the other hand, is another discussion that will take us for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, we
I
We
like
have time for
though,
that.
I like what has happened with the British Prime Minister, because prior to him being sick, he was kind of cavalier.
mm,
The minute as he faced death, I saw a totally different change in how what was happening in Britain in terms of the protocols in place and
mm,
the continuous focus. I thought, hey, maybe sometimes you have to come to that place to recognize that this thing is not a joke, it is not an ordinary flu,
Yeah.
but more than that.
Mm.
Trinidad, I'm not happy with how they treated the 34 Trinidadians. Yes, have them quarantined in Barbados. Yeah, the quarantine period is up now. Bring your people home.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the video circulating. I think it was Nation News. It was
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they were speaking about their experience and stuff,
yeah,
and that was quite interesting, quite telling as well.
yeah.
Made you quite proud to be a Bajan.
Oh, you know.
Also, but then some of the decisions, and I guess this is where leadership came in. Some of the decisions, everyone's making different decisions. Like the different
Yes,
Caribbean islands shut down at different times. They have different protocols. They're doing different
yeah.
things. Some have closed their borders completely, even to
Mm-hmm.
nationals coming home. That part I
Yeah,
don't understand.
yeah.
Um, I, for me, on the Trinidad issue, in a way, just came. It just the way it just said to me, "Are you able to manage this?" Because but then the quick turnaround to Barbados and how quickly that happened, and then to listen to the people's experience, you go like, "Oh wow,
Yes,
okay."
yeah.
You
And they could have done the same thing. They could have brought them home, put them at the Holiday Inn, the Hilton, Cape Park Hotel, someplace. I say,
Yeah.
you're going to stay here for 2 weeks, but you're going to pay your costs. Or we're going to pay a part and you pay a part. And
mm.
have them in that location.
But at
Because,
least they're home.
yes, regardless of how bad the situation is in your hometown, you want to get home.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's something about
Yes.
being home, regardless of what is happening, that brings a level of comfort and security.
Yeah. Sure.
Mm. Mark, anything you want to jump in on?
Well, I think it was quite an interesting observation from the Trinidadians, and they were very complimentary. Just to go back to your point on leadership, and I think when we do get to the end of this and we come out of it, and we are reflecting, perhaps leadership will be one of those areas that we might not fully appreciate it. Now, as you're saying, June, there's some people who don't
Mhm.
quite appreciate what we have or what we
Yeah.
are going through with this leader. But when we do come out the other side, there might be some reflection on actually perhaps we had the right leader for the right season.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so as well. In terms of learning from the experience, what do you think? We talk about it all the time, and here they put in plans in place for looking at the future and how to organize for this kind of things. In terms of learning, what do you think we've learned about ourselves, not just as people, but as far as infrastructure, preparedness, and what's not? Because you can argue we haven't been hit with a hurricane that we'd always been preparing for all the time, but we got hit with something else.
Yes.
I think I got that from Mark. Mark was saying that the other day, but we got hit with something else. So the same emergency protocols, all slightly different. Something had to kick in. How do you feel? What can we learn from this? You think?
I think one of the things is if you want to, every year my husband, he would go hurricane season and he would buy all this stuff. And he would say every year, "Oh, you keep buying all this canned stuff. You just stop buying all these things." And he would say, "June is the season." And from season to season we have stuff, and then some may expire, you throw them out, or you give away some. But when this thing started to happen and it started to creep in, Robert went out and shop like crazy. I mean, bought a lot of stuff.
Mm.
And we were not like the toilet paper towel buying people, but he bought food stuff. So we were good. But what I found is that the country was prepared in terms of the government, but the people ourselves and companies, I don't think we were as prepared as we should have been. Even for us, we have a BCP plan, but we don't have a pandemic guideline. So we only had 3 people on VPN, and the other 3 didn't have VPN. So we then had to get the IT people in quickly. Some people had to get new laptops, and thankfully we were able to do a quick turnaround and get that set up and get that done. But I think now places like the large companies like the Sagicors and the ports and those people, they have been able to get it done and get it done well. The government, I think they're still trying to place some key personnel at home up to, I think, like 2 weeks ago. So I think that the average Bajan was not prepared. Some, it is difficult to prepare because, again, they're weekly paid workers, people who are from paycheck to paycheck. It's difficult to prepare ahead when there's no cash, and a lot of I would say the average people who are working in the retail sector on a weekly basis, being paid on a weekly wage,
Mm-hmm.
they were the ones that had a difficulty trying to adjust, and that
Yeah.
was expected.
Yeah. I can understand that too.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
understand that.
But I think the lessons learned going forward is that we need to not just talk upon food, but look at how we do things.
Mm.
Look at how we do business going forward, recognizing that at any time, at any moment, something could happen.
Mm.
For me, it wasn't, again, I learned how to, back in December 2015, when I had a breast cancer diagnosis, and I had to be like at home in 2016 between March and going through treatment and not, you had to be home. Sometimes you have to wear a mask depending on how your immune system was impacted. Having to be away from work sometimes and work from home. So for me, I had already gone through an experience of isolation and quarantine.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this is why I said for me it wasn't difficult. My daughter, she's like going crazy. I said, "Mommy, I ain't got no red wine."
Essentials.
and you can't buy alcohol. And a friend of mine just called and said she got 3 bottles, so I drove me to St. Philip for a bottle. And so, we used to, like, she and her girlfriends on Friday would have a time, to sit in a restaurant and they would chat, and all that doesn't happen anymore. So it is, I find, for the young people who are out and about, and they would go and have their Friday night lunch in Austin's or somewhere in a restaurant. They're not able to do that anymore. So it is a real hard, stressful time for them. So I think those are some of the things that we will see going forward, that you cherish the people around you more.
Yeah,
And in terms of reaching out and helping others, maybe those who never did it before will now recognize that there's some elderly people in the neighborhood that I need to check in on. I need to spend more time with my elderly parents. I know you're isolated from your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah, that's true. Hard for the grandparents and stuff too, because being alone and not being able to, and being told you can't walk around, and for some of the older people, sometimes a little trip to town and back is a good thing, just to keep the legs stretching,
I almost lost my salvation with my mother. It was, it was trying to say, you shouldn't go out. All we're trying to do is to protect you. I am 82 and y'all treating me like a child. I want to get like some money, you can order online. You know what you need. You just place the order and get it delivered. And she refused.
Yeah.
She went into tears.
Oh dear.
And crying, and she's being unfair, and all these things are happening. And I'm saying, I don't get this. I don't understand this. Wow. So finally this morning, she relented and gave my brother the shopping list. And he's gone out to get the stuff today. So that was, for me, that was a bit traumatic, because I could not understand when she didn't get it, that we were just trying to protect her and have her stay at home because she's diabetic and she's hypertensive.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it really was a challenge. And I think things like that is a learning for us.
Yeah. And mental health is a big issue in this time as well.
Yes. And I think for her, that is a way of socializing and, going to the supermarket and touching stuff and just sometimes just browsing.
Yeah.
And getting her things. So that too was a learning.
I'm feeling that you're still independent as well, right?
Yes, I think that is the key. That is key. When she says, but y'all treating me like a child. I'm saying, but no, mommy, we're just trying to do for you and help you to keep you safe.
In terms of the lines and stuff at the supermarket, is there something about the concentration of where the massive supermarkets are that's causing the issue as well, you think? And perhaps one of the learnings and looking forward is to where some of that stuff is placed from a town and country planning type of thing?
Not really.
Not really.
I think the challenge was because we had the bank holidays and the system only kicked in on Wednesday.
So the lettering got out of people.
So you had 4 days shut down. You had Good Friday. Saturday was the day of open. Then you had Easter Sunday, Easter Monday. And then you can't do anything Tuesday. And the system kicked in on Wednesday. So people now, houses were empty. Because even for me, we had to go up. Although I had to online stuff, I had to go and do a pop-up. And I think this is where we had the long lines. And once you did that first day shopping, there was no need to go back for a second shopping, like when the cycle came around again.
Mm.
Even if you forgot something, to me, it had to be something you can forget
Gotta be
material
something
next
major,
time.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the feedback I'm getting now is that it is better. I think we had to let it settle down. The what we call the popular supermarkets, and the Cherish and those supermarkets, again, you will find the long lines because, again, this is where the people on the paycheck to paycheck. You won't see them at Massy or you won't see
It's
them.
prices and stuff as well, right?
Yes, and the cost for less and the
Yeah.
price marks. So you will get a large concentration. And Popular only have two locations open. The one in the city, I think they kept closed.
Mm.
So those will always have that high concentration. I think what people don't recognize sometimes is the loss leaders get you in, and then the prices sometimes really not all that different.
Mm.
If I'm going to drive from St. James to Christchurch to get a long line just to shop at Popular to get blueberries at $9.99, if cost less has them at $13.99, I'm gonna go and pay the $13.99.
Mm.
I ain't gonna stress it there to get them for the $10.99. So those are the kind of things that I will weigh in how I would shop, and the things that I will do. So I think it is where the cheapest prices are. People that will have a high concentration.
Mm. Okay, Mark, Phil, anything you want to jump in on?
Yeah, something that struck me there is the fact that you said there are certain branches of Popular shut down.
The one in the city, I think they closed the one in the city, but the one in Bush Hall and the major one in Kendall Hill, those are open.
Are still open. Have they redeployed staff, or have staff lost their jobs?
No, nobody lost their jobs in the supermarket, in that retail sector at all.
All right.
I think they need to hire more staff. One of the things we found, my experience on my shopping there, was that we spent 35 minutes getting our stuff. And we had to sometimes park the trolley and run to aisles and put stuff in because you were cognizant of people outside waiting to get in.
Yeah.
But what was a major barrier for us were some staff in the supermarkets were packing online orders and curbside pickup orders. So they too were blocking the aisles. And then you had the forklifts. Some of the aisles loading stuff.
Packing the shelf as people shopping. And
it should not be, to me, let us do between the 8 and 4. And when you close at 4, bring in the elves at 5 o'clock. And between 5 and 9, pack the shelves. Between 5 and 9, do the online orders, so that the next morning, the 75 that you are allowing in are real 75 shoppers and cashiers, but not people packing and doing those other things, because then again, it cuts down on the number of people that you're allowing in the stores. And I was glad to hear Mr. Bino say that yesterday on Brass Tacks from the Emerald City Ep.1 supermarket. He said, let us have access between 8 at night and 6 in the morning to do the repacking and the restocking. And if we're able to do that then and do the online orders, then it helps to bring more people in the supermarket at the times.
And I guess to some extent that's something that's more familiar to a 24/7 culture, a culture that has this 24/7 mode, which we don't have. But there's still something good about protecting that non-24/7 culture when you're stretched. So it's finding the balance between those two modes of work and living.
And what he was saying is that, the staff want to work. They don't mind working. So the thing would be for the government to give them access to be out, because curfew finishes at 6. 6 o'clock, everybody has to be off the road. So they would then need to have access particular days to go and do that restocking. And I think it would help. So one of the things the Chamber of Commerce is doing today, actually, the president and a couple of members are going around to different locations to eyeball how it is working.
That's good.
Apparently they're going to be meeting this afternoon to discuss how things are going and if they need to tweak anything or change anything.
Mark, anything?
Well, how has it been?
I just want your perspective on lessons in Barbados. Well, on the shopping side, we pretty much had the same experience. It's just that we've got much longer hours and we've got a lot more capacity in the system in terms of supermarkets, and our hours are much longer. And we are a 24-hour society, but we still took time to settle. So
Yeah.
in the same way that we might look at Barbados and see it, you got long lines and it's upheaval. We had
Yeah.
our own upheaval as
Oh
well.
yeah,
But it takes time for things to settle down, and
Yeah.
you've got to be
Yeah.
patient through that period.
Yeah. I
yeah.
agree.
I think
To-
the one thing the one other thing I wanted to ask just before you went on, Andre, was your perspective on Barbados and learning was really interesting. I wonder if you
Yeah.
think there are any lessons for the Caribbean in all of this.
I believe I think I will separate us from the others because they've had the hurricane experiences. Our last hurricane was 1955, major. So I think for them, they're already in a mode of preparedness. I think there was, because again of the movement of people, and all of a sudden you're encroaching on my freedom to move. And I think like in Trinidad, Guyana, St. Lucia, Jamaica, it was all of a sudden, boy, you're telling us we can't move about and we can't go to the parties and we can't hang out and drink the liquor.
Liking the accent.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
It
a
was-
good point, actually.
Yeah, it was I think that was the major challenge here in the Caribbean, and I think around the world, because now I see they're protesting in the US about their freedoms.
Mm.
And how do you tell a person who has the liberty to move about, and all of a sudden you're telling me they can't move? I must stay in my house for 2 weeks, and now you extend it for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, true.
How is this? This is not fair. This is not right.
True.
Yeah.
So I think that was a major thing in terms of going forward and learning, is that there is a method to the madness. And if, like Barbados, we've not had any reported cases in 2 days.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want to jump up in the air and say, yeah, we conquered it. But it says something about the social distancing. And I don't know if you guys heard the video with the on CBC about the lady who came out. She's one of the survivors of the
Saw that this morning. That
Right.
was, yeah.
And the key, what the key thing that stood out for me is that she said all the cousin or the aunt did was to hug her mother.
Yeah.
And within 3 days, the entire household was impacted.
Yeah.
There's something very profound about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought, if people don't get this, that all she got was a hug, and they just pick her up from the airport and bring the family into the house, and this one woman coming in from the UK impacted the whole household.
Yeah.
With
So
just a
there's-
hug. It spreads so easily.
Yes, so there's something about the social distancing that once we get it right and the staying away from the crowds and so on, I suspect here in Barbados we were waiting for deaths, and I mean that's so morbid, but it's
No.
like
But that's the trend, so you would expect the same thing happening
as well.
at home too, right?
But this is no big thing because nobody in there. This is no big thing. We're making too much of a fuss of this.
Yeah.
I think once people started to see deaths happening,
Mhm.
and for moving from an
Acceptance.
88 or 70 something to a 50 something, and then you see people in Beijing in New York then at 47, and all of a sudden it was a real reality.
Yeah.
So I think that is some of the lessons that we learned, that there's a method to the madness.
Excellent. Well, June, thank you. I know you got to get your time slot.
Yes.
So thank you. I mean, one of the key
Thank you
things for
too.
me as well is we Barbadians just don't be hard on ourselves. The same thing is going on all across the world. The long
Yes.
lines, the panicking, the crazy behavior. So don't preface everything with Bajans this, Bajans that. That's why I keep
I
telling
agree.
everybody. It's just people.
Yeah,
It's a
all
natural
learning.
reaction.
Yeah, we
But
all
thank
learning.
you. Thank you so
too
much
for
for
inviting me. It
joining
was
us.
great. Mark, Andre, Philip, it was awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. You too.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Great to
good one.
talk.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, so some good points there from June. That was a really good conversation. Good to have her in the living room today. So what you guys think? How was that?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, there were loads of perspectives that she brought there from a whole set of views as a professional, as a parent as well, and just as a citizen of Barbados.
Yeah.
It's always good to hear those perspectives from home.
Yeah, I thought she really had her finger on the pulse on quite a few things, and it was quite insightful what she was saying about waiting for the measures to settle, because I think we've been having some conversations about the same thing recently, that you just have to wait for these things to fall off the peak and for them to settle down. But I thought her conversation was very, very insightful.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we touch on a number of things there when we talk about learnings for Barbados, learnings for the Caribbean, just the understanding as well that, Barbados is experiencing exactly what the rest of the world is experiencing, and it's not necessarily the novelty of the long lines at the supermarket and people rushing around and that kind of stuff
Mhm.
is happening
Yeah,
all across the world too. So the point I was trying to make at the end there too was, let's not be too hard on ourselves, really.
Mm. But it does still
yeah,
bring
absolutely.
bring home that although it's happening all over the world, for every country, every
Mm,
jurisdiction, it's a unique experience. There's
exactly.
still some things that are very particular and to that particular um, space. I mean, the long queues that we see here up north in Manchester are
Mm,
not as long as the queues I've seen on the news from Barbados, and I guess that has to do with the wider variety we might have, um, a less dense ratio of
mm.
people to supermarket.
But in the
That's why.
early days, though,
Mhm.
just before lockdown,
Mhm.
there were long lines here
That
too.
that is true. Yeah.
Really, really long lines. We 3 weeks
Yeah.
in,
Good
and the
point.
and we, and the shutdown was kind of anticipated. And if you remember, I certainly down here in London, the lines were long outside the outside the supermarkets, and
Fair enough.
people coming out with
Yeah,
bales of toilet paper and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So Barbados being 3, 4 weeks behind that, we are now seeing probably what the UK and other places went through a little while ago.
Good point. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
up
I
north.
thought I thought her point.
Go ahead, Mark.
You go
Go
ahead,
on,
Phil.
Mark. See what you're saying.
I thought her point also about the effect of the bank holiday was quite a useful observation as well.
Mm,
Because we look at the alphabet system, and you got to recognize that every country has its own nuance in terms of how they respond with bank holidays. A
mm,
lot of times we have bank holidays here, and sometimes we don't even bat an eyelid because it's just business as usual.
yeah,
But
yeah,
in
yeah.
the Caribbean, where life stops, it was quite interesting her
You carry it over.
observation of that actually had a big impact.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But good conversation. So episode 1, what y'all think? We should continue to do this?
No, we should stop it.
I like it.
No, no, of course. I think it's definitely worthwhile. Looking forward to see if we can. It'd be good to hear from other places besides Barbados as well.
Yeah,
It'd be good if we could find people from Trinidad
Mhm.
and Jamaica, Antigua. That'd be nice to hear if there are different viewpoints.
different perspective. I think every island dealt with it
Yeah,
differently.
yeah,
So you're definitely right there. Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever. I think that's definitely what we can try and do. Try and get some other people, have a conversation, and just see, what everybody else is doing, what they're up to, how they're dealing with it, how they're coping with it, the different measures that put in place. I think that'd be good to hear from and actually share it with other people around the Caribbean as well. So that'd be good, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can definitely do that. But look,
yes.
everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. We're going to do this some more, as we just said. We just agreed unanimously that we're going to do this some more, bring in other perspective, different people from around the region, and we'll put it out there. We'll share it with you. Feel free to comment and let us know what you think. But it's been good. So thank you for joining us here on the living room.
Thank you.
Cool. That's been good. Not bad.
Okay. All right.
Not bad.